Welcome to the Major Music Lounge. It's your boy Dee Dot coming at y'all with another episode. Tonight, gonna actually be joined by V-Boy from the West Coast, going to be talking to us about his new project, Death of a Salesman. And he was actually on the show recently with Zach One. Shout out to Zach One as well. They were talking about their album, their EP, Parallel Universe. And gonna just be chopping it up with V-Boy about those and some other projects. If this is your first time watching a Major Music Lounge podcast on YouTube, we do things like music producer interviews. Also, artists are welcome. If you're a developer out there, like an app developer or sound designer, I'd like to also welcome you guys to the show. Like to interview, if you're any of the above, reach out to me. You could actually follow me on Instagram at D._major music. Follow me on Twitter at D.mme. We're actually about to wrap up season 1 in about the next 2 weeks or so, but going to be back late summer. I'm going to be taking some time away from doing a podcast just for a moment to work on a new EP myself. So definitely look out for that coming out real soon. Going to get into the interview. So without much further ado, let's get it. I'd like to welcome y'all to another edition of the Major Music Lounge. It's your boy Dee Dot along with V-Boy. What's good, my brother?
How you doing, sir? How you been?
Oh man, I've been chilling on it, man. Chilling on it. As we was kind of talking to before the show, man, it's been kind of an adventure here in Texas. Last time we talked, it was the ice storm, and pretty much like the whole month of May, it just seems like it's been raining and it's carried over to June. It's June 1st and it's still raining. So I don't know what's going on out here, man. Every time it's something different, man. But how you been, man?
I've been great. I mean, I wish I could say the weather was bad out here, but California, it never rains in California for the most part. It's sunny, it's swimming weather, and I'm just pumped. A lot of positive things been going on the last couple of months, and I'm here to talk about it.
Man, yeah. So we're gonna definitely chop it up about some things. So for those of y'all that don't know or maybe haven't came across the show yet, but V-Boy was on the show a couple of months ago talking about the project with Zach One, Parallel Universe. Tonight, he's actually back to talk to us about his latest project, Death of a Salesman. I got a chance to, and I do want to, first and foremost, say I appreciate that, you sent me the project before you released it, to get my thoughts on it and, some of the mixing and engineering on it. And I appreciate, you just valuing my opinion like that.
Of course.
Definitely thanks.
Of course. I love leaning on you for stuff like that. I watch what you do. I'm really, really following your online presence, and you have a good mix sense, and your beats are awesome, and all the music you put out is good. So now that we're building these new relationships in the industry, you were one of the first people I thought of that would give me an honest idea. And when you hit me back and said it was sounding legit, that's when I was like, all right, let's upload. So I really do respect your opinion, and I want to thank you for helping me out with that.
Oh man, anytime I can be of help with you, and definitely hope to in the future work with, I was chopping up actually this evening with Zach One, sending texts back and forth, talking about doing some collabs for my project and a project that he's working on. And I'd like to work with both of you guys on something in the near future. So definitely, man, I'm gonna be reaching out to you about that.
My door is always open. Just knock on it.
Man, word. So before we get into talking about the Death of a Salesman album, I want you to talk a little bit about, how you got started with rapping. Like, who are some of your influences? I know maybe some of the listeners that are with us now didn't see the first interview with Zach One. I know you came up kind of rapping with him. So kind of tell us a little bit about that.
Well, so essentially, like, I started as a kid, like 3rd, 4th grade out in Northern California. I'm kind of, I guess you would call me an old head. I grew up listening to things like Run DMC, the Fat Boys, but I knew I really, really loved hip hop when I first got my tape copy of Eazy-E, Easy Does It, NWA and the Posse, and my Slick Rick, The World of Slick Rick. When I got those first 3 albums, Oh, and Too Short. And then that just really started to get me to where I just wanted to write. I actually had a homeboy that in like fourth and fifth grade named Mac that would write for me. He'd like pen me out bars, ghostwrite. And because I just had good projection, good voice. And, you know, we just went from there, and we just would work on like 4 tracks and like anything, dual tape cassettes with records, anything we could do. And as things progressed and got more serious, and we were putting out projects actually in store with barcodes and everything like that, and selling CDs out the trunk, Zach just happened to be a guy on my side of town that was doing it too. And he is almost like my rap savior, my artistic savior. Because every time I'm like, I'm through, man, I'm done, I'm just gonna do this kids thing, I'm just gonna do this work thing, I'm squaring up, I'm through with it. He's like, nah, dude, the art's still calling, the culture the culture wants you to come back. And I'm like, all right, man, let's do it again, man. I'll do it again. Let's do it. And then every time he just breathes life back into me. And now here I am. I'm just doing my thing again and enjoying every moment of it. I'm having the time of my life.
Man, yeah. You talked about, first some of those influences, Easy E, Too Short. Down south, we grew up on a lot of that too.
Yeah.
I don't know, it was just kind of like that was some of the influences in our music too, man. Even though we had like that bounce music, and
Yeah.
I feel
Bounce.
like now in this day and age, there really aren't any borders in terms of each segment of the country is going to have their own sound. But I feel like now it's not so much that artists are locked into that whole vibe. Like we're crossing over, you're seeing down south rappers on West Coast beats and vice versa. So yeah, I noticed on you and Zach EP, y'all kind of had some of those vibes, in fact.
Definitely. You know, it's funny too, because it's amazing what sort of music picks up in different regions. Like because of I mean, I'm half Latin. Zach hung out with nothing but with Latinos, and it was big bounce music and Miami bass. Like I used to listen to, I know he's from Atlanta, but I used to listen to MC Shadi, Two Live Crew. That was all big. Anything with an 808 was big in the Bay Area. And we listened to High Energy. There was freestyle music, and that's big in Texas too, and in Southern California. So there's a lot of influence behind this like kind of TR 808, TR 909 drum machine sort of movement. And it really influenced our my sound on music. And you may hear some of the production in the album when we get into talking about it. A lot of it can just be a simple drum track. I mean, it doesn't need to be super cinematic and over the top. Like hip hop can be as simple as it needs to be, or as complex as it needs to be.
Where. So let's chop it up about the Death of a Salesman album. Well, I guess I'll ask you first about the concept behind the album, because to me, when I listen to it, it has, first of all, it has kind of that old school hip hop vibe to it, but
Yeah,
it
it
also
does.
feels kind of like you're doing your thing on it. And I like a lot of the features. It almost feels like you put together not only like a solo project, but this will be kind of like a double disc, or even almost close to like a compilation. Tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about the concept behind the project.
Well, so the concept with it is I've never done anything but be a salesman. Like whether I was selling candy in elementary school, or if I was selling dope, or if I was just doing a regular 9 to 5, I've really never been anything but a salesman. Cars, appliances, everything. I've sold it all, and that's what I'm used to. I used to be a major fan of the show Mad Men, and that had to do with like advertisement execs on like Madison Avenue in New York City during like the 40s and 50s. And I just got this picture in my head of like that guy waiting for the subway in a suit with a fedora on and a suitcase. And I started thinking, I really wanted to start doing concept albums. A lot of people put out albums and they say, oh, I need that club hit, I need that street song, I need this song. And I said, no, I just want to have a cohesive feel to an album. And I started picking out beats that I thought really sounded like kind of big band, kind of old, something you might listen to like in the Roaring Twenties, things like that. And it influenced me in my beat selection. And I really wanted Death of a Salesman, just the title really has to do with the fact of this was going to be my last project to where I was doing this like hustler talk, this street talk. I really want to move into more positive, more like kind of pop hip hop, with still street tones, but ultimately I just want to continue on with this positive thing that we started with Parallel Universe. And I thought, what better way to do it than to put me in the place of a salesman? So it is Death of a Salesman. It isn't my last album, but it is the last album of a certain genre that I was so known for. My older projects and everything I worked with was very regressive in the sense that it was just talking about dope dealing and hurting people and anger and all stuff. And I'm just past all that. So this album was a real blessing to be able to do, and to work with the people I worked with on the project was great. And I'm just learning a lot. Like I'm learning I don't ever want to do an 18-song album ever again, because nobody does that anymore. But essentially I just had a great time, and I've gotten nothing but positive feedback from it. And I just want to throw shots out to anyone that has texted me or reached out to me and told me how much they enjoyed listening to it, because it's my heart and soul on it. And I hope there's something on it for everybody. And that's why I want to be out here with you talking about it so people can listen in.
Yeah, man. It's kind of funny that you say, this is kind of the death of what you used to be in a lot of ways. When I go back and listen to a lot of my early projects, like, because when I first started rapping, I was probably in my late 20s, and I'm 39 right now.
Yes,
and
sir.
You kind of hear that evolution over time. When I used to go out clubbing and I was just wilding out back in that day, and
sure.
just transition into getting more chill. And I'm kind of on the same vibe in terms of just changing up some of the music that I'm doing starting this year. And to kind of go to another question having to do with what you said, one of the things that me and you have in common is you came out like with Parallel Universe, and then you came out with Death of a Salesman. And like last year, right before the year ended, I came out with Quarantine Files, and then a Rativist EP with the homie MA from back from Louisiana. And that was all in a matter of maybe 3 months. You did something kind of similar in that regard. How is it, like, in terms of work ethic, having to make sure you got 2 albums and you got all the effort put into those 2 albums, and your work ethic and your drive, and making sure all your plans are coming to fruition by getting these albums worked on?
Well, I'll say that one thing that's enticing about music today is that it's a lot cheaper than it was when we were in our 20s. I mean, just to start a studio or pay for studio time or music videos, it was a lot harder in the early 2000s. And working with Zach, he may be one of the only people that can work with me. Like I watched a lot of stories and interviews about people about what Pac was like in the studio, about like having 3 studios going and jumping in and out of the rooms. And I would be lying if I didn't say I'm a lot like that. Like I could do another 18-song album in 2 weeks if I had the time and I was rich and I didn't have to go to work. But ultimately, Zach can vibe with it. He knows I'm kind of like a fireball once this gets going. I used to rap with a lot of dudes from the neighborhood that don't mess with me no more, because they're like, they want to put out one song and they're done with it. And I'm just all about feeding the streets with as much product as I can. And I also wanted to make sure that Zach was getting my 100% undivided attention towards Parallel Universe. So we would write, I put everything into that. And I actually wrote the majority of this album on my phone, on my lunch break at work, inside our parking lot, in my car, listening to the beats, vibing to the beats. And so people were really taken back by the fact it came out so fast after, but it was still really a year in the making, because I was piecing it together while I was doing Parallel Universe. So they just kind of fell on top of each other like that. But I wanted to make sure that we got all our videos out and all our heavy promo for Parallel Universe before I dropped this, because I didn't want to pull any steam away from that project, because it really is on its own a monumental album in itself.
Yeah, man, I feel that. And one of the good things is, having Zach himself, I kind of equate that to, just as I was saying, having MA is not, and you hit it on the head in terms of, it's not easy finding someone that you can really vibe with and have a vision with when it comes to doing this music. Because sometimes you might send somebody a record, they don't send it back to you. Y'all might even have the conversation on doing an EP, and things just fall apart for whatever reason. So big ups to you and Zach on that front. And then you talked also about how you worked on these projects during your lunch break kind of remind me of myself in that regard, because
Yeah, of
I
course.
do, man. I mean, I take either my computer or my iPad with me every day, and I may, as far as break time, I get probably an hour and a half total
Yeah.
break time at work, and I'm always into something. And a lot of times people probably think I'm antisocial, but
Yeah, for sure. For
but
sure.
nah, man, it's just kind of like the work never stopped, and people that don't really do what we do, they don't really understand that. And
You know,
yourself, like, you have a family too, so you gotta really make
I
things
got
happen
really,
when
I'm
you
telling
have
you.
time. Yeah.
I'm telling you, just like with you, man. Like I did with you. My kids are like hitting my mixes up in the morning. I'm in my car driving to school, and I'm like, you think my levels are right here? You think I need to drop the vocals on the on the hook or what? And they're like, I don't know. It sounds good to me. Like nobody knows what it takes to do this. Like they don't really understand. Like you could drop a project and really, ask somebody for their opinion. Oh, it's dope. I like it. Or, oh, I haven't got a chance to listen to it yet. It really takes thick skin because you're putting your art out there, you're putting your soul out there, and you're not always going to get the best feedback, but you really do it for yourself. And those few moments to when people really give you an honest opinion on what they hear really is what it's all about. If you touch anybody with anything you said that came from your own story and your trajectory, then it's what it's all about. Like I've gotten so much feedback on this album and I'm so happy about it. Like this is why I keep doing it. And this is in this lane that you and I and Zach and other people now, because so many people are trying to do this now, this kind of like over 40 old head grown man kind of music. It just proves that hip hop can transcend. You don't got to be 20 to make hip hop no more. And it's just a whole different look. It's like it's like contemporary hip hop is going on right now for the OGs.
Yeah, man. I mean, the game's done changed in that regard. You talked about it earlier with a lot of these devices and these, laptops. You get a decent laptop for 500 or above. Even an
Mm-hmm.
iPad is capable of creating music,
Yep.
and your work ethic is really on you and the amount of time that you got to work with. And I'm always looking at my schedule and saying, okay, I got this day. I'm gonna lay
Mm-hmm.
out this track, and I make sure that it's almost kind of like back in the day when I used to go and record with people to other studios. Used to
Mm-hmm.
make sure you had your verse written before you went to the lab,
Yeah.
because you
Knew it
pay your
tight.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah, you pay your bread to record your verse, and studio time not cheap. You
No,
gotta make sure
not
you
at
go
all.
in there and you knock it out and get it done.
Not at all, for sure. Hey, it was even crazy for me. I got started in the '90s. I'm a white boy, and I was going to these studios with like dudes way overcharging me because like this dude, he don't know what it goes for. We're gonna charge him like $90 an hour. I'd be like, that don't sound right. Like like so you just learn the game and everything. And I will say, there is a lot that I'm learning from the young kids that are rapping now. A lot. I pick their brains heavy to try and figure out their workflow, their process. They don't really double vocals. They punch out a lot. They don't even write. They're all about singles. 10 songs on an EP. They're like EP guys. They do
Yeah,
like
man.
it's like they do a single and a video, single and a video. So I'm really trying to learn from them. So I really don't like how a lot of old heads kind of like talk a lot of bad about what's going on right now. Like, oh, I don't listen to this. I don't like mumble rap. They don't know the culture. Like that just pushes them away. If you embrace what they do, they'll try to learn off you too. And it just all rolls in a big circle because there's a lot we could teach them about writing process and work ethic. Because I mean, I got homeboys that got videos, they're under 25. They got videos with 13,000 views and they're not even working. They're just like, oh, I just put it up. I don't know. They'll just put it up. And I'm like, how do you do that? Like, how do you get so much love and like you're not even busting your hump on this game? Like you're not even trying. So that is kind of the game right now. But I'm learning from them, and hopefully they're learning from me.
Yeah, and that's the big thing is I tried, because I would say years ago I used to kind of push away from that, but now I kind of embrace that, trying to connect with some of the younger guys, because some
Mhm.
of them want to learn. They're eager to
They
learn.
do.
So
They do.
you got to try to find that happy medium in between and help them understand you, and vice versa. Try to understand them, and you never know how y'all could work together to create something.
I'm good. Yeah, totally. I feel you.
So for your Death of a Salesman project, do you have any videos on the horizon?
Yes, I do. So I have dates set in second week of June, and I'll let the viewers know, or the listeners know now. I'll be doing a video for the song Venice off the album, not Venice the remix, but Venice the original song. I'm doing a video for that. I'll be doing a song for what seems to be the most popular song on the album from the consensus for what I'm hearing back, but doing an album video for City Blues with my boy Spacebound and my boy Sleaze from East Palo Alto. So we're getting one in there. And then I'm saving up the big stuff for early July. And actually, I'll tell you one, because you told me this is one of your favorite tracks, but I'm doing a video for Teardrops.
Yeah,
and that had a lot to do with, that had a lot to do with you, dog. So, and the crazy thing is, I don't know if we're, like I said, we're the same age, so you might have caught a rerun of Batman at one time, and if you hear the sample at the end of the beginning when the beat rolls in, it's the old Batman say with like it comes in.
Oh, yeah,
so I'm doing the whole thing Batmaned out. I'm coming in as the Joker on it. So get ready for that, to see me dressed up like the Joker.
Man, I can't wait to see that one, man.
It's gonna be insane.
You know, that's definitely some creativity behind that concept. I can't wait to see what you do with it, man.
It's gonna be crazy. Yeah, we're renting out a big sound stage in a warehouse. Like, it's all gonna be isolated with the camera. It's not gonna be shot on location. It's gonna be really, really like almost like a movie set. So I mean, if it all works out the way I want to, it will look really cool. We're hoping to get my boy Joe from my tattoo artist. He's a head of a lowrider club. We're hoping to get some Lolos out there bouncing and hopping, and we're just gonna try and do a Cali style with a little twist, because I like to do things a little different.
Word, man. I definitely can't wait to see that. You know, I always got you on the reposting and getting the word out on it too, man. So yes, yeah, sir. Definitely. Biggest thing, I guess, that you took from like 2020 as an artist, and you know, that you brought into 2021.
I just took into that it's not over for me. It's not over for my people. It's not over for any of us. You know, it was a tough year for everybody, and good music deserves to be out for people to listen to. Everyone's chomping at the bit to get back out to the clubs. Everyone's chomping at the bit to be back out with their friends. And I think me and Zach have made some music over the last 6 months that a lot of people could vibe to when they get back in those social circles. So house parties, at the bar, wherever you're at, listen to us, listen to what we're doing. That's pretty much what I took in. Is I'm out the gates. I'm ready to go. My feet are on the floor and I'm ready to run.
And as far as the rest of 2021, what do you have on tap for the rest of the year?
So I have felt like Zach has been so gracious in letting Mr. Mumblemouth over here get his thing going. So I am, after Death of a Salesman, I like to take a little bit of a break, and I'll tell you what's coming. Zach is working on his passion project, his solo. And I want you to be there to support him 100% for that and make sure that is an epic album. And so I'll be working on that. And once that goes and all the smoke settles from Death of a Salesman and from Zach's album, this group is going to continue to hit things. So I will be working on an album. So my name is Vince, but my full name is Vicente. That's Spanish for like Vincent. And in Mexico, the nickname for that is Chente. And I'm going to come out with an album, Chente, which is going to be a very Latin influenced album. I want to do this for my father and all my people on my dad's side and do something. So we're going to do something that's going to be all like mariachi samples, cumbia, like reggaeton. Like, it sounds like it's going to be like, whoa, who's going to listen to that? But when I touch it, it's going to be my way. So it's going to be influenced by me. But yeah, so look out for Chente, look out for Zach One's new album first. And then eventually it's going to be another Zach One and V-Boy collaboration album, which is going to blow the doors off.
Man, I definitely can't wait to hear those as well. As I told you earlier, chopped it up with Zach One on that project. So, you know, maybe we can definitely link up on that as well.
Please,
man.
Please.
Man, for sure, man. I feel like it's been a long time in the making. So we got to make it happen, man.
Please, for sure. Yeah, man. I'm so excited to work with you. And man, I've just been hearing your beats and I'm just excited about working with you in the future. And yeah, I just so appreciate being here and be able to talk about this art with you. And I'm glad to reach out anyone listening. I just want to say thank you. You can check me out on Instagram at vboy650. My link tree's there. It'll get you to all my projects, all my art, everything. I'm on Spotify. All you have to do is type V-BOY and you'll find me. It's that easy.
Yeah. Check him out. Check out Death of a Salesman, available on all streaming platforms. And if you're watching this on YouTube, definitely appreciate you. You can also catch this podcast on all podcast streaming platforms, just like his project. And V-Boy, definitely, man, appreciate you dropping through for the interview, man. Anytime you got anything going on, feel free to reach out to me, man. And you're welcome to, Major Music Podcast anytime, brother.
Hey man, Major Music, man. Everyone needs to tune into this. This is the dopest podcast that I've been a part of. And I enjoy the questions and the way you come at me is always legit. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Man, no problem, man. And real quick before you go, man, do you have
Yes,
any
sir.
quick shout outs?
I mean, Zach one for sure. Everyone out here in the Bay Area, 650-415-510 and the 408. That's the whole thing, man. The whole Bay Area, the Yay area. You know
All
how it
right.
goes. NorCal, baby.
All right, man. So again, pleasure having you. This has been another edition of the Major Music Podcast, and we are out.